Fast fashion, slavery in the 21st century. When we think about the term slavery, we often think of it as a thing from the past. However, this is not the case. Currently, there are 50 million people worldwide subjected to modern slavery. 28 million of these are victims of forced labour. Fashion is a determining factor towards the slavery epidemic. Slavery and exploitation in the garment and textile industry includes forced labour, little or no pay, paying in order to maintain employment, working long hours and being locked into factories, lack of or inadequate contracts, lack of workers' rights, including the right to organise and bargain collectively, lack of social benefits such as healthcare, sick pay or pensions. The reason that slavery and exploitation is so prevalent in the fast fashion industry is due to the high demand for cheap clothing at rapid rates. This high pressure leads to a deterioration of standards in the workplace. If the prices aren't considered cheap enough, the retailers switch manufacturers. Bangladesh is the world's second largest exporter of textiles and garments in the world. Its garment industry is worth £42 billion a year. Despite this, 35 million people live below the poverty line. 4 million of those are dependent on the fast fashion industry in order to survive. This dependency leads to the exploitation of workers. Abuse is rife within these factories. Abuse consisting of sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, workplace abuse, child exploitation, and human rights abuse.
The girl, we'd been told, was just 14 years old.
Sadly, due to the extreme poverty in Bangladesh, children are forced into work in order to help provide for their families, therefore also becoming the recipients of this awful abuse. Meet Chewy, a 12-year-old factory worker working hard to make our clothes.
I had to leave school because my mother was in debt. When I was in 5th grade, I was so happy. I had many friends. We laughed and played together. But now that doesn't happen anymore. I miss it a lot. Only because of money problems. I had to stop working. My aunt advised me to start work to bring home some money. And so, they took me to the factory. I earn almost €4 a day. At first, I even liked it. But now I always feel tired because I work all day. For the first 5 months, I held on. I kept working. But now I feel lonely. And I don't like it. I work there until 10 p.m. Often I go to bed at 1 or 2 a.m. If I'd been able to continue studying, I could have helped my parents with a good job and been independent. I could have saved my family. It would have been nice if we'd gone that way. My dream was to become a doctor, but since I can no longer do that, I work in clothing factories to pay for my sister's education so she can become a doctor.
Another horrific
a garment factory has collapsed
factory
in Bangladesh, once again calling into question the safety standards
collapsed.
of the factories.
This is 2013 Bangladesh, moments after the Rana Plaza factory collapse. The building's collapse led to the deaths of 1,134 people and injured approximately 2,500. It would be remembered as the deadliest structural failure in modern history. The reason for this? Fast fashion and greed. Originally built in 2006 with 4 floors and the correct permits, the owner would proceed to add 4 more floors without a permit and proper structuring. The original building was intended for commercial use and not industrial. These factors contributed to the disaster. It was found that the factory produced apparel for international brands including Zara, Matalan, Primark, Walmart, Joe Fresh, El Corte Ingalls, Mango, Benetton and the Children's Place. This all could have been prevented. The day before the catastrophe, a TV channel featured the building in clips, presenting cracks in the building. Following this, the building was evacuated. However, Sohail Rana, owner of the building, reported to the media that the building was safe and that workers should return to work the following day. It was reported that management at Ethertex threatened to withhold a month's pay from workers who did not return. This avarice led to the Rana Plaza collapse, a tragedy that was easily preventable. Following the Rana Plaza collapse, a new law was introduced called the Bangladesh Accord. It requires all garment factories to be inspected by government-approved officials. However, it is a well-known fact that many factories are still operating in unsafe and inhumane conditions. The fast fashion industry continues to grow at a rapid pace and is expected to grow continuously. The constant need and pressure for throwaway fashion will only exacerbate the need for exploitation in the textiles and garment industry.